was kind of funny is ironically is every time that our birthdays roll around, which is every year basically, which is a good thing, there have been some tragic things that have been happening here. Welcome to the Avenu Workout Podcast, where I am combining my two favorite things with my first favorite thing here. It is working out and podcasting along with my wife, Cassie. And we are doing this, as always, it's a follow-along podcast. So you get to work out, listen to us, have a little bit of a conversation, have a little bit of a laugh, learn a little bit about us, while you get distracted and have a good quick 15-minute workout there. So as the flow goes, it's 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. You just follow along with Cass, or you can follow along with what's happening down this side or that side of the screen, whatever side it's on there, and just work out with this as we go through the conversation. So I'm gonna let Cass start working or warming up, and you can start warming up with her too as well, and I'll introduce it. So today, we've had a focus on, oh yeah, thanks. She always correcting me here on this.
He was like, make sure you pay attention to the timer. And I said, is your timer on?
Oh, God, I thought I was going to have it this time around there. So if you're watching last time around, had a little bit of a blooper. I forgot to hit start on my watch or even get it all set up and squared away. And I had a complete disaster within the first minute of the last podcast recording there. But this time around here, we've been keeping it with some fun themes here, getting to know a little bit more about Cass and I, kind of the struggles and the funs and the highs and the lows. And we thought we would continue that because right now this is coming out in the middle of our birthday weeks. So this past Saturday or Sunday was my 41st birthday, and this coming Saturday is Cass's
40th birthday.
The big 4-0. And those are great things. It's kind of milestone birthday for Cass. It's another birthday for me here on this one. But we thought was kind of funny is ironically is every time that our birthdays roll around, which is every year basically, which is a good thing, there have been some tragic things that have been happening here. So first, you go back, we left to go to Chicago here a few years back, I think it was 2017.
Yeah,
we had Hurricane Harvey hit us while we were up in Chicago, which we were only supposed to be there for a couple of days. We ended up being stuck there for
like 10 or 12 days.
I don't know, it was ridiculous. It was so bad that the cleaning crew was asking us to make our own beds because they were tired of making our beds for us. So we got stuck in Chicago for a while. Last year, we went to the Bahamas for this same time period. And if you can remember, this Atlantic hurricane Dorian hit, we were trying to get out of the Bahamas. So on my 40th birthday, I literally sat in the Bahama airport from 10 o'clock in the morning. Actually, we got there probably about 9 or so. Yeah, we sat from 9 o'clock until maybe 10:30 that night. I think it was actually a little bit later. Yeah. We didn't get out to get over to Florida. And by the time we landed and got into the hotel, it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then they nicely boarded us like the next morning at 5:30 to get us back to Houston and stuff. And then now here we are, we're sitting when we're filming this. This is Tuesday here, Tuesday the 25th, something like that here. And we've got, right now you got the corona happening, and then you have Hurricane Laura, which is barreling down. So we're waiting for kind of the update that's coming through to tell us, hey, how bad is it going to be? Is it going to be, kind of further to the east, further to the west? So just know that we've got a curse that's going on between us and our birthdays.
We did make it to your 40th birthday in time, though.
Yeah, we did. We ended up making it back to Houston.
Had a surprise birthday party planned for him and texting people, we're not going to make it. Wait, no, we are. We're not going to make it. No, wait, we are. So we still got to do that. That was fun. Yes,
no, absolutely. And it was fun. She had a surprise birthday for me that we had some indoor soccer being played. But that was me. That was my 40th. More importantly, right now it's coming up on your 40th. And, I thought it was interesting because we always ask you kind of what are these thoughts, reflections on what is health and fitness and stuff like that. But as you turn 40, it's a little bit more life things.
Yeah.
Like, what are 2 or 3 things that kind of like stood out to you, lessons learned, things that you're like, that's valuable. That's something worth sharing here.
I think just continuing to grow in self-awareness is key. And for me, that is really trying to keep things simple in life. I get overwhelmed easily by clutter, by a lot of things, by mess, by too much in my inbox, too much on my plate. So I think just becoming more aware of that. And Brent and I talk a lot about we always want to be people who we can understand what it's like to be on the other side of us. So I know when I'm in those situations, I've come to learn over the years, I'm probably not the most fun person to be around. Or if mom has gotten really quiet, she's cleaning something out in the house. And if you want it and it's valuable to you, you better hide it or keep it with you.
Good. She's not lying. I mean, we throw out stuff so frequently. Sometimes I think the girls think that they're next. They're going to be they're part of the throw out. They're like, man, if that thing has not moved in 6 minutes, it's time for it to go. But you explained clutter. So around the house, are you kind of what was the Netflix lady? What was her name?
I can't remember.
She was like all about cleaning things out.
The purpose, you're supposed to ask if it brings you joy and things like that. So really just, again, trying to keep things basic, simple, not having too much repetitiveness of things. If we're not using something, like, let's go ahead and get rid of it or pass it along to someone else who can use it or sell it or what have you. So I think that from the personal perspective of just understanding yourself and like how that affects the people around you. From a health perspective, I would say, kind of going back to the first podcast that we did, was now seeing what's sustainable for me in my late 30s going into 40s, knowing that there's no way I could be doing what we talked about in the first podcast of the training a lot, doing the competitions. So finding something that's now much more sustainable for me and feeling like really good. Obviously we have a lot going on right now. Things are crazy, trying to adjust to a new normal, but for the most part, even throughout the highs and lows of the days, weeks, months, going on almost 6 months now, I still feel pretty good. So I give that to just focusing on the sustainability aspect of trying to move 5 times a week for 30 minutes, trying to eat half my plate of veggies at every meal that I can, getting 8 hours of sleep. So all those little things that I've built into a routine and my lifestyle really are starting to like show that they're working and they're being effective, that I feel this good turning 40.
I heard it said, being best, it says, high performance begins where health ends. So you think back to where Cass was kind of like so dialed in, so focused in that first episode about looking photograph ready. I mean, for a 24-hour period, her health on the other side of it all, I didn't know you at the time, but I could imagine internally the health of her body was pretty poor. But on the outside, she looked perfect. She looked like she needed to look for that time. So in this moment of saying she took her, her training to a high performance level, she dialed in and got really ready for it all, but she set aside the other markers of what true sustainable health was kind of talking about there. And going back into like our house, I think this is kind of just good for them to understand. When you said declutter things here in this one, is this like you walk through a room and you just take things and you throw them out, or do you look at things kind of with some kind of intention and go, this needs to go, that needs to go, that can stay, this can stay? What kind of meets the markers for if it can stay or go?
I think in terms of like closets, obviously, if I have not worn it in 6 months to a year, I'm probably not going to. And the kitchen. Again, same thing. If it's not being used, like we appreciate functionality, we appreciate like the things that we have, we actually use them. And we're often even slow to like purchase things because we want to make sure, okay, is this something that we're really going to use? Is it going to bring value to our family? Is it going to serve a purpose? Even for like Christmas and the girls' birthdays, we tend to not give them anything. And not because we're mean parents, but we let the grandparents do it all, and aunts and uncles, cousins, and other friends.
Our kids are going to grow up to be hoarders later on in life. They're going to be on TV programs.
And we tell them, but we explain why.
Yeah, no,
we
absolutely.
tell them that we can take a better spring break trip, or they can have something that they'll play with for a few months and then not want anymore.
Yeah. You did this one thing actually pretty interesting. I thought she was pretty crazy in the beginning when she did it, but with your clothes, when you took all your clothes and you turned them on the hangers, I think reverse, everything was all facing back out.
Yeah. I can't remember where I saw that. I think I saw that on Pinterest. I'm not sure that Tidy, gosh, the name is passing me right now, but you guys know what book I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tidy, I can't remember. Anyway, so yes, turning the clothes hangers backwards. And so as you wear something, you get to turn it back the other way. So stuff that we wear every day, that was gonna be obvious, like, okay, keeping all that stuff. But we spend most of our time in workout clothes, so probably don't need all those things that I have in my closet. I'm not wearing them a lot. A lot of times we hold on to things because, oh, I paid such and such for it. Try to sell it if you can, or just give it to someone else who it will benefit. But just keeping those things, like, once you can see what you have in your closet, it's gonna be a lot easier to enjoy those things.
Yeah, no, I think it's good because I look at it and say, like, my favorite workout shoes, the shoes I wear every single day to work out and have 2 big holes in the side of
Drives me crazy.
My favorite workout shorts that I wear all the time are literally 20 years old. So when she says, does it bring you joy? It brings me back to my happy place. Right? So it brings me back to a time when life was great. Not to say that life's not great right now, but like everything I have is just old and ratty, and it feels comfortable and it feels good. And I could care less if it has holes in my shoes or whatnot, because if I'm outside, I'm working out, I'm not there for a fashion show or anything along those lines. But when it does come to our wardrobe, I'm not the best dressed person, because I feel more comfortable in t-shirt and shorts all the time. And there are some times when, my wife is now dressing me, in which my kids did dress me this weekend too as well. I had something picked out to go to dinner in, and they quickly changed what I had selected. So I'm coming to see that fashion is not going to be in my future, nor my second career if I ever leave Avenu and move on from here. Got it. So as we move into reflection into it all, you start talking about, hey, clean, tidiness, getting to the health, finding the sustainability of it all. Any other points? Any other 1, 2 other little things that kind of just really standing out to you?
I think it's great to do that from not just like physical things, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like just really kind of take an inventory of what you have would maybe be a good way of saying it. Take an inventory of what you have, where you are, what needs to go, what needs to stay.
Yeah, I'm always on the stay list, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we shouldn't throw relationships in there. So obviously I'm the good one right now. So we're filming this on a good day.
What about your birthday? You
Yes.
always do something for your 40th birthday. For your birthday.
So if yes,
For your 40th
well,
and
40th and for
41st.
everyone there on this one. So if you know me, I am literally a creature of habit. I am a robot. I could eat the same thing, drive to work at the same time, walk out the door at the same time, leave at the same time, like everything the same way, every Groundhog Day for me, and I would be perfectly content. And so way back in 1998, I left for college. I played soccer in college. I got a conditioning program that we were supposed to follow for the summer. I followed it all the way through the summer, and I was, kind of one of those cheesy infomercials. I was in the best shape of my life, but that was to play soccer. And it was one of those things like every summer I kept coming back to it. And I worked soccer camps in the summer. So every summer on my birthday, ironically, I ended up at Rice University on my birthday. It was typically like the week before we were supposed to go back and report to college for preseason training. And so I would cap off my training with a run around the outside of Rice. So way back in 1999, all right, the first official summer that I kept track of all this stuff, I ran around Rice University. I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this every summer. This will be easy for me to do. And I've continued it for the last 20 years. I have ran on my birthday. I leave the gym very quietly. I sneak out the door. I do a very slow kind of warm up to get to Rice. For those of you who are not sure of it, it's about a mile and a half from here. And then I hit the go button. As soon as I get there, I blast around Rice to try to get around it as fast as I possibly can. And, kind of the last couple of years, I said, when I turn 40, I'm going to change this up. I'm going to do something completely different, which created a lot of anxiety in me because, again, if you're like me, you're a creature of habit. You like to do something every single day. Doesn't matter how you feel. You just go ahead and do it. And so this summer, I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then the whole Corona stuff happened. And I started following the program again at the beginning of the summer, pushed myself pretty hard through the whole summer. And I get here and I'm like, I can't do it. I cannot do the 3-mile run. I'm going to do a 2-mile run. And I'm going to change up the course. I'm going to change up what I do. So I got our youngest daughter, Ella, to join me on her bike. And we're going to go do this loop, kind of close to our house where it was a half-mile loop. And I said, okay, hey, you're going to ride beside me. So I stepped there. I'm feeling really good this Sunday morning on my birthday. I'm like, I am going to absolutely crush this time. And I took off. I finished up the first mile. I looked down at my watch and it says 5:39 for the first mile. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am freaking flying. I'm screaming at my daughter. She's yelling. She's like, come on, Dad, keep going. And we get about, so it's 4 laps, obviously, of this half-mile kind of loop. I'm about midway through the 3rd lap. And then all of a sudden, like a sniper shooting you out of the tree, my hamstring just popped on the backside of me. And I go limping over to the side of the street. My daughter's like all concerned. She says, Dad, do you want me to call Mom? To which I say, no, I'm fine, I'm good, I can make it. So I hobbled myself all the way back home again.
I think it's
I'm rolling, you gotta keep going. You got 5 seconds left here for you, listen. So then I changed my birthday thing from say, hey, you know, for the next 20 years, you're good right there. The next 20 years, I'm gonna do this 2-mile run to, for the next 20 years, I'm gonna do a 1-mile run. And I'm gonna see from the 40s all the way up through to I'll turn 60, I'm gonna do this 1-mile run and kind of compare myself, you know, kind of end over end over end here on this. And it's funny, as we just kind of said there, what Cass alluded to a little bit earlier, and we said that, you know, when she looked a certain way for her competitions, is we said high performance begins where health ends. And for me, you know, I'm following a program that was designed for a like 18 to 22-year-old person getting ready for soccer. Here I am, turning 41. I'm not getting ready to play soccer, but I still train with the volume and the intensity at which I did back then. And Cass can tell you, in the summer times, I get to become pretty moody. I can start to lose sleep. I start to get kind of like very temperament. I know you're like, how could he possibly? He's like Mr. Rogers. He's just a fun-loving guy. But throughout this whole summer, I know it. I go into it with this mindset of saying, hey, for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to be kind of up and down. It'll be this little bit of emotional roller coaster. You got it. Because I'm at a point where, as we said, I'm trying to push for performance and I'm not trying to push for health. So I started sacrificing sleep. I started sacrificing kind of, again, just relationships and stuff there, the emotional side of it all. It becomes a very heavy burden through it. So when you're thinking, oh, you know, you see people striving for these goals, or you see people strapping on heart rate monitors and trying to crush session after session after session, you start to say, wait a second, if you extend this for too long, it really becomes, I think, something that's unhealthy for you to do, because the high performance begins where your health ends. And so for most of us, we're in this high performance maybe at work, maybe you're in a high performance in a volunteer type of thing, maybe you're high performance in being a mom or a dad or whatever that might be, but you have to look at that and say, okay, hey, on the flip side, I'm making sure that I'm staying healthy. I'm doing the little things to make sure that I stay healthy, not I'm gonna crush a workout and then fall over on the floor and then take a selfie and then I'm gonna post it and I'm gonna get a lot of likes on it to give me a feel-good factor. So I think that's one of those things is, as between both of us, what we've probably learned through the years is that we've pushed ourselves to that point of, hey, we're gonna try to compete and we're gonna perform at our top level, but we also sacrificed a lot on the backside. You know, unfortunately now we're on the other side of it to try to say, hey, we're hopefully you can learn from our mistakes and us talking about it to say, hey, maybe I should start to see what it is I want to do and is it truly healthy for the long term with it also. Any other closing thoughts or anything as we wrap it all up? No?
Wish me happy 40th.
Happy 40th birthday to her. And for those of you who forgot mine, shame on you. Put it in your calendar and remind me next year that you did not forget. We'll see you then.